Thank you very much, Director of Ceremonies. First, I want to recognize the colleagues that are here, the Vice President of our country, Republic of Zambia, ministers that are here. I've seen a couple of ministers, only a few of them, so to say. Also, Cabinet, Secretary of Cabinet, acting on the team from Cabinet Office, permanent secretaries that are here, maybe here, and indeed other senior colleagues in government. But more importantly, the press that are here in quite some number today. A very impressive number. Thank you for being here. And ladies and gentlemen, as Mr. Bwalia has said, our intention is to have quarterly engagements with the people of Zambia, minimum quarterly engagements, and we're in month 8 now. We had a press briefing earlier in the year, and later in the year, I must say previous year, this quarter ending March, thereabout, April, we are having this press conference. So let me start today's press briefing by acknowledging and thanking the people of Zambia for mourning the late President Rupia Banda together. For mourning the late President Rupia Banda together in peace and dignity. We did request you that we ought to mourn at the time he left us, President Banda, in an orderly manner, and I think we were able to do just that. So thank you to all of you who contributed to that dignified send-off to President Banda. With the independence generation, our generation gradually passing on, we must continue to cherish, to thank them for their contribution to our country's struggles, which obviously includes the independence struggle, liberation struggle, and for leading our country in those early years, very difficult years, but they were able to carry us through. So please, let's continue respecting them, those who are still alive, and learning from them, especially learning the art of unifying the country. It's very important that we keep our country unified. Otherwise, in disunity, in exclusions instead of inclusions, in marginalization instead of basically equitable treatment of all citizens, the developmental agenda becomes a difficult task to implement. So we want to encourage ourselves to be part of those values, and so we can pass them to the generations after us. Through working hard in peace and love and unity, we obviously need to continue focusing on rebuilding our country, especially the economic side of our country, is fortunes, which will indeed support the social side. And we must get the equation right. We cannot have social support without the economic success. And that equation needs to be respected by all of us. In as much as we love each other, we support each other. If we do not succeed economically, we cannot support each other socially. We cannot look after the sick, the weak, the children, the differently abled in society. This is a song you will hear more and more from us, but we want you to see more actions as we implement those measures that will drive us towards economic recovery. When we came to office, ladies and gentlemen, we committed to implementing a culture of transparency and servant leadership. We made it clear this is how we are going to run the country. We even said it before we formed government, that this is the way we are going to run this country. We never forget that we are first and foremost public servants. We are first and foremost public servants, and that we must at all times serve the public, the people of Zambia. Remember that. We do remember that, and I want to remind my colleagues in government, from the Vice President here, to the ministers, to those in cabinet, to those who are PSCs, to those who are fortunate to have been appointed in commissions and indeed anyone working for the public sector, central government, local government, quasi-government, including parastatals, because sometimes parastatals believe that they are not public servants. Actually, they are public servants. So all of us are there to serve the people. And we're conscious of that. And we like the public to understand that we are servants to them. And we must interact with each other in a manner that will enable both of us, first on our part, to perform our duties, on the part of citizens, to receive the services that they expect from us. I think that should not be misunderstood in any way. So it means those of us in public office must remind ourselves every day why we are going to office, why we come to this your state house every morning, why we go to our ministerial offices. We must be aware that is to serve the people. So I want the people of Zambia to feel comfortable about that realization. And we've seen something different. We've seen a lot of something different in the past. But you can be rest assured, this team, this president will continue reminding ourselves that we are who we are. We never forget that, and we'll never forget that. This means keeping you, our masters, informed, like we're doing today, and in many other platforms, in many other ways, about the progress that we're making, but also about the challenges that we may be faced with as we serve you, the people of Zambia. To open ourselves to scrutiny, because that's important, from the media and from other citizens, as long as we are scrutinizing each other based on facts, and not social media talk, and not innuendos. Because if we make decisions based on falsehoods, we will not achieve the objective that we set ourselves to achieve. And I think that goes without saying. It's an old adage. Those who tell lies have destroyed societies, time immemorial. And it hasn't changed even now. So press conferences are an important part of this commitment, but there are other ways that we should be engaging with the people of Zambia on an ongoing basis. We are here to answer to you openly and honestly. Openly and honestly. If we face a challenge, we'll let you know. And we'll ask for your support, your suggestions, how to deal with those challenges. If we don't let you know, ask us. That's the way it should be. We are aware that there has been much discussion about the ongoing fight against corruption. And that's the way it should be. Over the past few months, we've made significant progress in our fight against corruption, with a number of cases opened, with assets reclaimed. Some are in the process. They've been seized. And I think it's important that going forward from today, that the institutions that are responsible for the fight against corruption provide regular reports to the people of Zambia on the range of assets, the range of cases that they're handling, the cases that are in court already. And I'm sure the reason citizens believe that there's not much happening is because there's a different style, and I'll talk about it. There's a different approach, and that's to do with respecting the rule of law. While we fight corruption, we must respect the rule of law. 9 months ago, there was no rule of law around here. And Zambians got used to seeing aggressive arrests as a semblance of order. No. That was disorder. That was abusing citizens. We can and we will fight corruption within the rule of law. It's one side. We did what was being done to us. Maybe that's what Zambians are missing. We will be no different from those that did run this country without respecting the rule of law. We've got to get used to orderliness as citizens. We got used to disorder. We have to get used to orderliness. In my time, I got arrested, never enjoyed something called bond, although it was within the law. Today, an opposition leader is called the police at 14 hours, they are charged, arrested at 15 hours, they are given bond at 16:30. To many citizens, there's no fight against corruption. No. There's a fight against corruption, but we are doing it within the rule of law. We better get used to that. I want to emphasize that from the beginning. I want to say that the students that we have sent to university and other colleges, additional 2,000 students who have received scholarships, bursaries at the University of Zambia and elsewhere, we were able to do that because we applied some of the recovered resources to this best investment, education. Many may have not paid attention to that, but this is the way we thought would be better use of recovered resources, amongst others. We understand, we hear your frustrations, those who feel that things are not happening fast enough. We understand you. And this is something we are addressing, including what I've said already. We are deeply committed to the two goals, I shall repeat, to the fight against corruption. A, fighting corruption. B, deepening the rule of law. I'm repeating this. Fight corruption, yet deepening the rule of law. These two are not contradictory. These two are a package that was not there 9 months ago. This is the package that is there now. And I think as citizens, if we don't appreciate this now, we'll appreciate it in a few years from now. I'm dead sure about that. As you get used to normalcy in society, as you get used to your freedoms, as you get used to the freedoms for others, even those who took away our freedoms, today we want them to have freedom. But that must not be misunderstood, that we will not fight corruption. Absolutely not. We got used to blood, seeing blood in the markets. We consider that normal. We got used to seeing HH having no access to public places. We got used to seeing HH denied the use of an airport. We got used to seeing HH denied use of the airspace. We got used to that. I am saying that was a wrong getting used to something. We better get used to seeing freedoms enjoyed by our people, including those who took away our freedoms, who are enjoying the freedoms now. I think we should receive credit rather than frustration. But we understand your frustration, because human beings get used to certain things easily. We are asking you to get used to order. Now, let me ask fellow citizens, if we continue, which is what one country, neighboring country is doing, just to arrest people we suspect that they've stolen something, they stole something. A neighboring country, we sent a team to establish how is it that they've forced recoveries quickly. They briefed our team that we had struggled to recover because people were not cooperating. Thieves are difficult. And I agreed with that view, that thieves are difficult. That's why they steal from people. That's why they commit crimes. So we said, how did you do it? They said, we went to Parliament and changed the law. And any suspect, reasonable suspect we believe stole something from the people, we locked them up. And locked them up for 90 days. And left them in prisons for 90 days. And we told them, when you are willing to talk, to bring the assets, we are here outside. Tell the prison warders that you are ready to talk, and we will talk to you. And since then, that country has recovered about $13 billion of public money. Is that the route we want to go? We should debate that. To accelerate, to arrest any suspect without due process of the law, lock them up for maybe 6 months. And they will talk. We know that they will talk. If we're to do that, we have to go to Parliament and change those laws. It is you, the citizens, that must make those decisions. But we'll probably be faced with a new problem where we'll be trampling on the human rights of citizens. So our job is to find a middle ground, to fight corruption, to recover assets, which we need most, citizens need most, but still respect human rights. That's a core. That's a core which I believe will be respected in a couple of years from now. Should we take people to prison without trial? Should we? Should we get another team like HH locked up for 127 days without being taken to court, when the law says anyone arrested for suspicion of crime must be taken to court within 48 hours? Should we amend that law and take it to 6 months? The choice is ours. So for now, this leadership will take those arrested to court within 48 hours. And if their matter is bondable, they should get bond. Including Given Lubinde, who got bond, but he never gave me bond when he was Justice Minister. But we're allowing the law for him to get bond. He should say thank you to us. That we're respecting the rule of law. Should we arrest people based on social media stories? That's the question. That's a frustration citizens say this country, this government is not fighting corruption because a social media story is run. And immediately this government must arrest those who are mentioned, who are named in a social media story. Pick them up. Throw them in for 127 days. It will be you, the same citizens, who will complain. Because even you will be named very soon by somebody who doesn't like you and post something on social media that you stole something, and we will arrest you. And you'll be in for 127 days. Some of you have no spine. You will break down after 10 days. You must say thank you to this government. This government had the right to be vindictive. This president could have been all out arresting people because I was the most discriminated citizen in this country in the last 10 years. The most detained, the most abused. I slept on the floor for 127 days without a blanket. I was put in a cell with fecal matter on the floor and all the walls. In the line, no toilet, no ventilation, no lighting for 8 days. Now that you have elected us to save you in the presidency, if I had no different spine, I could have rounded up all of those people, illegal of course, threw them in prison. If I did that, I am no different from those who threw me into prison. I want to argue today that I'm different from those people. I occupy a higher moral ground than those people. But Zambians will say, no, lock them up the way they locked you up. No, I'm saying no. The law must apply. We shouldn't arrest people based on social media stories. We should investigate. We shouldn't arrest people based on falsehoods. We shouldn't. That's an era of the past. Social media is good, but it's also being abused. Should we believe what Nakachinda said, that HH called judges at his house and told them to do or to manage a matter, a certain matter in a certain way? Should we believe and run that on social media that HH is abusing judges? I never called any judges to my house. That was a lie. So why should we then promote lies in our country? I never called any judges to my house. Never. But Nakachinda said he had evidence, he had seen in his binoculars that I had called judges. Under the rule of law, Nakachinda must pay the price because he lied to the nation, isn't it? When Nakachinda is arrested, some of you will say, no, HH is abusing his presidential powers. No. It's the laws. The laws apply for the abused. The laws apply to the abuser. What do I mean? If you are arrested for criminality, the crime will be charged, will be given to you. If your matter is bailable, you should get bail. But you should have been charged. You were charged. That's the point I'm making. But the message I'm giving to the people of Zambia, let us not feed on falsehoods, because we will lose what we intend to do for this country. When he got arrested for lying that, or contempt of court, he went and said, no, that was a political statement. What is the meaning of that? What does that mean? You can go out and lie and injure citizens, then he said, no, that was a political statement. 2 days ago he said, and I hardly refer to individual names myself. You have seen I don't respond to criticism. That's who I am. I don't. Publicly. I will respond by acting on the criticism, by correcting what people are saying, if what they're saying is true. 2 days ago he says, 3 days ago, how foolish can the people of Wengo bring their foolishness to State House? How foolish can Tongas and Zambians allow a Tonga to bring the Tonga stupidity to State House? Now, this country is not about Tongas, it's not about members, it's not about Nyanjas, Ngonis, Chevas, it's not about Rosines, Nubares. It's about the citizens of Zambia. That's what it is about. I'm Zambian first. Zambian born where? In Monze. Did I choose? No. Ask my mother. You saw her on film a few days ago. Ask her. Why did she give birth to this child in Monze? Ask her, not me. But this is what we're beginning to make our country to be. To focus on pettiness. And you raise it and give it momentum on social media. This is not what this government wants to do. This government should take care of all citizens of this country. Irrespective of where they were born, how they twist their tongues in terms of language. That's a gift from God. We should cherish it. Then I saw somebody posting and saying, mind you, I read what you post. I want the nation to know that I read what is being posted. And someone posted and said, yeah, we should never elect another Tonga, based on Nakachinda's statement. Doesn't the law provide against discrimination on ethnic grounds? It does. Another opposition leader a few days ago was addressing a small rally somewhere and said HH doesn't greet Zambians. He wears a mask when he faces Zambians and gloves. But when he sees white people, he removes his gloves and removes his face mask. Face mask. Face mask is a health issue. Now, is that the checks and balances we're talking about? Talking about racism? Is that the country you want to build? Absolutely not. So my advice to citizens, don't drag your time, expensive time, valuable time, to petting the affairs of the country. Our approach to the fight against corruption is that there is no compromise on the fight against corruption. No compromise. Past, present, future corruption. No one should stand in the way of the fight against corruption. No one. No insinuation that there's an ethnic issue in the fight against corruption will sway this government. No minister, vice president, president, cabinet office should stand in the way of the fight against corruption. We are aware that the stock of many people in public office interacted with corruption firsthand. We are aware of it as they conducted their office duties. Some were used in the corruption process. My advice to you is that we've kept you in office because you are a citizen, because we want equity and fairness. But we're not oblivious to the fact that you may have been involved in corruption, and your best conduct is to walk away from protecting corruption. If you don't walk away, you will exit anyway. And when you exit, don't complain. No one in State House will protect the corrupt, the clique of the corrupt, who believe now there's a new lease of life because we are following the rule of law, because we are giving them police bond. The system is giving them police bond. That's a mistaken understanding. No one should stand in the way of corruption. I mean Auditor General, I mean Anti-Corruption Commission, I mean Drug Enforcement Commission, I mean DPP. I mean that. I mean that. We mean that. No one should protect the corrupt. You do that, you're on your own. It's a futile exercise to do that. You do that, you're on your own. You're a cabinet office, you're shielding the corrupt, you're on your own. You're at this ACC, you're shielding corruption. When we pick it up, you're on your own. You're in State House, you're on your own. You're a minister, you're shielding people you know were corrupt. You are asked to swap people around, you don't want to swap people, you're on your own. You are DPP, you're on your own. No one is above the law. No one is above the law. Nobody. I guess that point is clear. Any insinuation that disrespect for the rule of law and due process is not a sign or is a sign of inability to act, you got it wrong. Fundamentally wrong. You got it wrong. It is clear that the clique of thieves are using people in public office to do all sorts of schemes. To do all sorts of schemes. I think respecting the rule of law is a strength, it's not a weakness. And will be proven right very soon as we normalize this society, as citizens begin to enjoy their rights. But where your rights end, someone else's rights start. By respecting the rule of law, we are confident with what we're doing. We are confident with the processes. Yes, we should pick up speed. We are confident in our approach. We do not wish to return to the dark days of 9 months ago. No. If you have stolen, you have abused your office, the law will visit you. Maybe slow, but surely it will visit you. Justice will be done. There's no sacred cow at all. You must be asking yourself the question, what are the changes to reinforce the fight against corruption we make? One, we have a new leadership at the drug enforcement. We took out the leadership that was there because we saw some weaknesses. There's a new leadership there. There's a new leadership at the Anti-Corruption Commission. There's a new leader of the judiciary. There's a new Chief Justice there, in case you haven't paid attention to that. There will be new leadership elsewhere. Wherever it's necessary, there will be a new leadership there to enhance the fight against corruption. What else? The fast-track court is in place now. Have you heard that? In case you're not aware. The fast-track court is in place now. I'm sure you followed somebody who was taken to the fast-track court. They now knew that their case would be determined expeditiously. What did they do? They went to another court to appeal, to petition that their matter must not be taken to the fast-track court. If you are innocent, why don't you want to be held quickly so that the matter is closed and you are found innocent? Why would you then abuse the judicial process to go to a court to stop the institutions of governance for your matter to be held in the fast-track court? Ask yourself that question. Why would anyone be scared of going to the fast-track court? Just ask yourself that question. For me, I was accused of many things, and I used to challenge my accuser. Take me to court yesterday, and I'll be found innocent. I won't say much, because that matter is in a court of law somewhere, so that that individual accused of corruption does not go through the fast-track court. The fast-track court was brought about to cut the speed, the time it takes to hear citizens, so that the innocent can be found innocent and the guilt can be found guilty. These are innovative things we've done as a new government. Absolutely. If you are a nephew to those individuals, that clique of thieves, encourage them to accept to go to the fast-track court. Encourage them not to use civil servants to give them illegal immunities. No one, and I want to say it here, no one has the legal mandate to give immunity to anybody. No one. In case you haven't heard me, I can't do that. No one at State House can do that. No one at ACC can do that. No one at the DPP can give immunity to anyone. That's illegal. There's no law that allows that to happen. So if you're a clique of thieves and you think you will escape by abusing office bearers or institutions, you've got it wrong. If you are a brother to HH and you stole from the people of Zambia, HH will not help you. Even though he's a servant as president, I will not help you. So don't even try. Don't even try. So why are we debating a non-issue? That's the question. Why are we throwing so much energy on a non-issue? Because this is a non-issue. No presidential assistant can give immunity to anything. No Minister of Justice, no Attorney General, no Solicitor General, no DPP. Anything done along those lines is a nullity. So why are we giving legs to an issue that is not an issue? I never met anybody in this State House in the name of Lungu to discuss a need. And these reports were reaching me. I'm trying to check on my cattle. I haven't seen my cattle for years. I know in a derogatory manner, somebody called Hichilema abused citizens and said, how can you vote for a cow? And put them in setups. Now, is that how we should treat each other? Today, HH is a cow. What's the meaning of that? Yes, so I was checking on the cows. But I'm not a cow. I'm a fellow citizen. It's reducing the country to chicken feed. We have to deal with this immunity issue. There is no immunity for anyone. And the social media ran it. One of the colleagues sent me a message that HH, you get immunity to Melenga. I said, no. I have no capacity to do that. But the nation fed on this thing and it became the most important thing instead of fighting to create more jobs for the people of Zambia. We ask citizens, be part of this agenda. Because you need to be. You elected this government to deliver change. That's what constitutes change. A different approach to handling things. Don't demonize the very thing you voted for. Because you didn't want to be beaten in the markets. You didn't want to be beaten at the bus stops. Today, if you're UPND, you are PF, you're beating someone in the market, you'll be arrested. You'll be arrested. You see anybody beating people in the market, report. If the police don't act, they will be made to act. That's what you voted for. We have asked the Anti-Corruption Commission and other institutions that are fighting corruption, working with the Ministry of Information and the Media, to provide more toll-free hotlines for the public to report corruption, any form of corruption. You abduct a citizen working at a cell phone company. You know somebody. Let's report on those hotlines. And the hotlines must work. You know somebody stealing something. Report. And the system must protect those who report. Whistleblowers. We must strengthen protection of whistleblowers. But the point I'm making is that all institutions fighting corruption, working with Ministry of Information and Media, must provide toll-free hotlines, not one, not two, more. That's not one of your hotlines. If you are asked for a bribe, I'm asking citizens now, through the media, if you are asked for a bribe by any government officer, by anybody, report that individual. Be factual. Don't send on social media and expect the president to act or the oversight institution. Be factual. Report anyone asking you for a bribe. You want to get a license? You want to get your title deed? An officer at lands asks you for a bribe, report that officer by name. I encourage you to record them. If you witness corruption, report it. If you are the victim of corruption, report it. Let's defeat this together within the rule of law. Short of that, becomes a dictatorship. Short of that, we have to go to parliament to change the law to lock up suspects for 6 months. They don't do it. So we've changed the law together. For now, let's use the existing law. I touched on the allegations about a deal that has received so much traction that Lungu was given a deal. I've touched on it. There's no deal. Anyone who's purported to have given a deal has no capacity to offer a deal. Yes, we want Lungu out of KCM. In the first place, we never wanted him there. It was wrong to appoint a liquidator into KCM. Read our articles when we were in opposition. It was wrong. That company needed a commercial solution. It didn't need a liquidator. By putting a liquidator, it took a different turn. Check, you are the media. Check what we said in opposition. Because criminality was occasioned in there. We want a solution to KCM so that it can contribute to the 3 million tons of copper production, which we targeted to trigger the economic turnaround. We want Mopani to return to full production. And we're looking for commercial solutions there. Increase production, earn more revenue, employ more people. That's the agenda. The license under KCM is a license to mine Zambian minerals. With the electric car industry coming, these are some of the assets that we want to ramp up production and take advantage of the new opportunity arising from electric vehicles. And we're not going to allow KCM to sit in limbo. We're a responsible government. And if someone is sitting in the way, they must step aside. Why should we offer an immunity to somebody? For what? I hope this thing closes this debate. I go to bed late myself. 2 days ago, I had to send a response to someone to say, there's no immunity. Then he responds about 01 in the morning. He says, Mr. President, you have made my day. How could I make his day from falsehoods? Honestly speaking. So please take it from me as your servant. There is nothing like that. If anyone offered me an immunity, it's illegal. But if anyone did that, they are on their own. Did you hear me? They are on their own. Because it's a non-issue. We believe our courts are competent to determine whether somebody is abusing the court process or not. We believe our courts are competent and they will discharge their duties to the nation. And let me say this. three arms of government: executive, legislature, parliament, judiciary. All of us work for the people of Zambia. None of these three arms of government work for themselves. None of us are above the law. None of us. We work for the people. I was questioned when I was away a few days. I took 4 days off from your house. Just 4 days. Because the other days were Easter holidays. Just 4 days. While I was away, there was an issue on the Minister of Foreign Affairs. That the Minister of Foreign Affairs got a bribe from Sinoma Cement. I was away. I called the Minister of Foreign Affairs, sorry. I got in touch with him. What is this thing I've heard? The first thing I did was not to read what was on social media and continue reading, was to then get in touch with the minister himself. Minister, have you seen what's being said? He said, yes. What were you doing there? I asked him that question. What were you doing there? He explained to me, private visit, he's building in that area. He wanted concrete mix, pre-mix. I said, continue. Continue. He explained. He said he got an envelope with a calendar and diary inside. Maybe he shouldn't have done it. It's him talking to me. I said, what were you carrying in that envelope? Because it's my duty. I'm the supervisor. I'm the supervisor to the vice president. In case you're not aware. That's the law. I'm the supervisor to the ministers. I'm the direct supervisor. I have to ask. And I asked on behalf of the people of Zambia. On behalf of the people of Zambia. And he gave me the answer. And he said, perhaps, Mr. President, I should have not taken the calendar and the diary. I didn't get paid anything. What else am I supposed to do? I must fire him? No. If anyone knows an answer better than he gave me, follow the law. Let's take the process. But on your behalf, I took the opportunity to ask him. Because we're clear, none of us should take any bribe for anything. None of us. It's very clear. But that includes none of you as citizens as well. But we're in public office, the scrutiny is higher on us, agreed, and rightly so. If anyone has more information, let us know. Because we're accountable to you. But you say you got money, bring that hotline or tip someone. You think somebody in State House got money? Tip somebody. You think a minister, another minister got money? Vice President, the President, tip somebody. We're together on this one. We'll always be together on this one. And other ills that destroy society. Social political issues. Just to remind the citizens of Zambia, we have restored the freedom of speech, we have restored the freedom of association, and other civil liberties. We're restoring the rule of law. You can't revive the economy. Remember the equation I said, revive the economy, then we can have social benefits. You can't revive the economy without the rule of law, without freedoms. We've restored this. We've put an end to the era of cadre impunity. Even when UPND cadres think that they're ill-treated because they wanted to revenge and avenge, just think for a moment. If this president had allowed or had not stopped UPND cadres after the 16th of August, when the declaration was made that we won, those who used to beat them in the markets, Kulima Tower, Intercity, just imagine if this servant of yours, president, had said, you can revenge. Just think for a moment. What do you think this country would have been? A bloodbath. Chaotic situation. Death. Who would have been carrying that blood? It's me. Never allow that to happen. We will never allow that to happen. But the very people who were beating UPND members and tear gassing them and doing all sorts of things are the ones who think they are clever now. You must praise God that a decent president took office. What you did to the MMD in 2011, if we were to do to you in 2021, after 16th of August, a lot of you would have been killed. I would have never allowed that to happen, because we're made different from you. Don't take that to mean something else. UPND members, I say to you, I will not allow you to be the new thugs in town, to be the new thugs in the markets. No. Trade in the markets. You are free to do that. Your citizens. Trade alongside a woman, a widow. That's what we want to see in our society. But to brutalize anybody? No. Why? Because we want freedoms to prevail. I know there's pressure. I'm aware. But I'm sitting on the lead. And I'm not allowing the lead to open. Because if it opens, I'll be responsible for providing no leadership. We are providing leadership. In as much as you are complaining, in as much as you want to revenge, no. But you who were beating people, don't celebrate. You must pray harder. That is decency in leadership today. Don't provoke people. What the order you see today in this country is not by chance. It's orchestrated. Throw your memory lane. Throw your memory lane. Take your memory to Chipata during the campaign, Chipata Airport. Take your memory there. Take your memory to a place called Maondo in Sesheke during the by-election. Take your memory lane there. Take it there. We were hunted like thugs. The thugs who hunted us, we know them. But we are saying to them, behave yourself. Behave yourself. Take your memory lane to the funeral of KK. Take your memory lane there. I was not even allowed to go and pay my last respects to KK's family, to him. When we lost Arabi, the very people who did not allow me to go and pay respects, my last respect to KK, I invited them. We invited them. We sat next to each other. The next thing, they started talking stuff. I didn't say anything. I just kept quiet. I said, look, people, see the behavior of people. See the nastiness. Take your memory like that. What you see today, the order you see today, even the noise you hear from the same abusive thugs, is by design, by your leadership, to normalize society. It's not by chance. Let's protect this peace. Let's cherish it. Our economy. This administration came to office on a clear vision to restore our economy so we can have social good. But what we found was an economy in a much worse shape than anyone had anticipated, even as what was reported. Our debt was significantly higher, and our coffers were empty, truly. That's why we defaulted on debt, because the coffers were empty. That's why retirees were not paid, because the coffers were empty. That is why council workers were not paid their salaries sometimes for 15 months, because the coffers were dry. The ship called Zambia was not just a ship going in the wrong direction. It is a ship that needed to be turned around dramatically. It was rapidly sinking. It was leaking not in one place, but in multiple places. This is a ship we inherited. I know someone wants to say, don't talk of the past. How? You need to understand where you were in order to know where to take the country. You need to do that. This country was leaking from multiple places. This country was being ransacked by those that were put in office to protect the public. And so our first focus, attention, has been to plug the holes and stop the leaking. And we're getting there. That's why we've not defaulted on debt. Which default we inherited. It's because we've taken certain measures. That's why council workers are being paid on time, because we're sealing the leakages. That is why retirees, a good number of them, have been paid. Ladies and gentlemen, Vice President, Minister, Cabinet, that is why we have paid retirees. Because we're leaking the leakages, we're sealing the leakages. To fully account for what we owe, to cut wasteful expenditure, and to rebuild trust with our development partners was a big priority to us. Creditors, so as to begin to resolve the budget challenge. Someone asked me a question, Vice President, said, why is the UPND government not paying certain contractors? This is stifling the economy. I said, oh, give me an example of contractors that are not being paid. And they gave me an example. Road contractors, feeder roads, who gave themselves contracts illegally, corruptly, in 2020, 2021, to the tune of 12, 13 billion kwacha. That's the money they were flashing around during elections. Given contract to do roads, they don't even have a hoe or a shovel. But they siphoned money through contracts. Someone signed the contracts. He or she who should have protected citizens facilitated the corruption. And bills were rendered, 20% down payment for a contract of 400 million. Calculate. 10% of 400 million is 40 million kwacha. 20% is 80 million kwacha. They got paid 80 million kwacha. But they did not do any road. Then they billed for another portion of the contract. We found those bills and we said we are not paying these bills. And someone says to me, you're not paying local contractors. You are killing the economy. Economy cannot pay for theft. They've even written to us that, why are you not paying these contractors? We have said to them, an audit is taking place. Come and tell us why you want to be paid when you did not build any road. They haven't come. But the pressure on social media, pay the local contractors so you can revive the economy. And someone says, this is what the development economics say. I said I did more than development economics. You can't pay for a service you did not receive. That's not how you grow the economy. That's how you destroy the economy. We are plugging those holes. We're plugging those holes. And rightly so. We've even cancelled some contracts worth billions of dollars. We are proud that we've cancelled contracts that were illegally issued, contracts that were overpriced. You know one of the contracts I love talking about. You know it. We've cancelled that contract with pride, with our heads high, to protect the public from wasteful expenditure. And citizens are complaining. Then you are part of corruption. What is? Last year, we reached the staff level agreement with the IMF program on the debt restructuring. You can't build the economy with a huge debt mountain. You can't. We said so during our campaigns. You can't. And we undertook to dismantle this debt, to create room to release resources towards debt service into the economy, to create jobs, to grow the economy. That's how it works. That's how it works. In a few months, we were able to reach that position. And we said by the middle of the year, 2022, we should be talking about this debt restructuring under a common framework. And our detractors were making a lot of noise. No, you've ignored China. You're ill-treating China. We were working. We don't make as much noise as you do. We're working. And a few days ago, I'm proud to announce to the nation something you know already, maybe to repeat it, that we engaged China, we engaged other creditors to negotiate a debt resolution package, even partial. And today, a few days ago, to show to those who were making noise that we've ignored China, we engaged China, myself, as president. It's my job. The job you gave me. Minister of Finance team, together. Foreign Affairs. We want to thank China. Thank you to China for joining the common framework, agreeing to join the common framework to resolve the debt crisis. We've done it. Against all odds, credibility, seriousness. This couldn't be done for 10 years. We've done it in 8 months. You don't have to like us, but you have to respect what we're doing. 8 months, now we are on course to restructure the debt. And all the components I will not waste time on. The value of that is to release revenues onto the economic side, economic expansion, more resources available to the private sector, instead of that much to service debt. Now, after restructuring, it will be that much. The difference should go into the economy to create jobs, business opportunities. Thank you to China. Thank you to other creditors. Minister of Finance, I think he's not here today. He's out there. Governor of the Central Bank is out there. ST is out there. And I'm in touch with them almost every day. We've sent, as Zambians, we've sent them to do work for us to restructure the state. And somebody is saying they will return. What are you going to return to government to do? If I may be a bit cheap. You created this debt mountain. You ran the economy down, which was growing at 6-7%. You ran it down to 5, to 4, to 3, to 0, to minus. Today you want to be smart and say the new Dawn government has failed. The new Dawn government is resolving the mess you left behind, the mess you created. you should say thank you to us. That's what's happening. Zambians must learn and be proud that they put a government that is able to tackle serious challenges that were created by a reckless team of people. And we ask for your support to conclude this debt restructuring. Phase 2. Phase 1, staff level. Phase 2, it's a full program. By June, God willing, all work being done, we should be talking specific numbers. June is just a month away. And that's what we said we'll do. It's not easy to do what we are doing, but we are there, we are prepared to burn the midnight candle for the people of Zambia, those who put us in office. That's what matters to us. In recent months, inflation is coming down. It's coming down. 24% down to 13%. It's not by chance. It's by the instrument, the mechanism we put in place to release resources into the economy. The kwacha is stabilizing. It's not by chance, my dear citizens. It's work behind that. That's what you see from the surface. But behind that is a lot of work. But we're there to do it for you. You put us there to do the work for you. We are well aware that once we open the economy in the real sense, the jobs will come. Business opportunities will come for Zambian businesses. Yes, government has created 40,000 jobs plus. Teachers, medical staff. That's not enough. I'm the first one to admit that that's not good enough. A lot more jobs should come from the private sector. That's why we are dismantling the debt. That's why we are unlocking and stabilizing factors that create it difficult, make it difficult to do business. The engine of economic growth is the private sector. I want to repeat the announcement I made a few days ago. That after working hard, looking at how we can unlock the private sector development, shortly we will be launching what we call the Public-Private Dialogue Forum for Development as a way of working. You heard me. Public-Private Dialogue Forum for Development. What is this? The government and the private sector will be working as one in unlocking all those issues that are standing in the way of business. Zambian businesses, other businesses growing. Streams of work, agriculture, energy, all of those as examples. We'll be working as a daily routine with the businesses in those sectors. Let me give you an example. Today it takes 6 months or more to get water rights for a farmer to irrigate a wheat field. If that farmer is on the Kafue River, the delays in issuing licenses, by the time the license is issued, the water will have no longer been here. It will have been in the Indian Ocean. It's gone. We want to unlock those issues so that the water license for irrigation can be given on time. So we'll sit with the irrigation farmers, with the Ministry of Water, the Ministry of Agriculture, and agree that licenses must be given within the shortest possible time. so that we don't lose water into the Indian Ocean and become salt water. Just one example. We will also bring wet streams such as unlocking KCM, unlocking Mopani, because they are key. Every day, working together. I heard someone saying HSs and the government are ignoring local business. We're local people ourselves. Local businesses come first, but they have suffered over years. We work together to unlock those opportunities. You have any suggestions? Give us those suggestions. This program is well thought through. It's not an abracadabra program, no. Study work, checking, benchmarking. This tool has been applied to turn around Singapore. They apply this tool, this toolkit. Malaysia, Vietnam, out of war, is emerging as an economy. It's this toolkit, basic approach. Next door, near next door, Rwanda. They're using this toolkit. This government is going to use this toolkit to unlock the economy, to unlock jobs. Let's work together in this area. In our first budget, we passed the seeds of development. Very important landmark. We realized that many children were not in school because parents had no money or they were orphans. Against all odds, against all the criticism, we've offered free education. And I was checking it in my village school. It's working. It's working. It's working. It's deliberate. It's not by chance. CDF is deliberate. It's not by chance. 1,000 plus increments in CDF. There are teething issues. Registration of cooperatives. Minister of Energy, Minister of Youth, Minister SME, Minister Local Government must unlock these rigidities in the next 10 days so that our young people can access certificates and get on with the CDF. Never done before since independence. Decentralization. It's not by chance. It's deliberate. The cost of living, we are aware. We are consciously aware and we share with the people of Zambia the cost of living issues. Our hearts are there with you. But to have a long solution, long-lasting solution to the cost of living is to deal with the debt, is to deal with issues of fuel. Let me confront this issue. Issues of fuel cost, issues of fertilizer costs. The conventional open market, the war in Ukraine is exacerbating these cost drivers. Fuel, fertilizer. We are not just sitting. We know the implication of this on the welfare of the people of Zambia. But we are combining short-term solutions, medium and long-term solutions. We are aware of it. We sympathize with you. You are us. Us are you. We're one family. We cannot be oblivious to this pain. But part of our measures, mark my word, part of our measures, we are in conversation with bilateral colleagues, countries. Oil producing countries, fertilizer producing countries. Working to negotiate bilateral arrangements that, if we succeed, will alleviate the pressures arising from fuel and fertilizer on the cost of living. We are together. We are conscious. It is important that we deal with these two issues. I'm listening to Zambians on this matter. Yesterday I was listening when I came in to a gentleman, an energy expert called Mr. Chikwanda. I think some of you have heard him speak on energy. I think he's a good Zambian, and Mr. Chikwanda. I've asked my team that they arrange a meeting for me with Mr. Chikwanda so we can compare notes. Because we want to draw on the pool of all Zambians that have a view and a possible solution on the cost of fuel, cost of fertilizer. If you know someone else, let us talk. But what is important, as us farmers know, and I'm encouraging those calling us cows to continue. As us farmers know, planting the seed is just the first step. It takes time for the crop to grow. We feel the pain by the citizens of Zambia. We're working to address the cost of living. Work together in this area. But patience, turning around the economy, which was leaking everywhere, is not done by the day. It's done over a period of time. Together, we shall overcome and create a lasting solution to these short-term issues which are damaging. I don't want to suggest to the people of Zambia that, yes, it's true, but it's not an excuse that the cost of fuel here has increased less than in other countries. It's a fact, but it's not a consolation. I've already said, let's work together. And we'll be reaching out to anyone else who has a suggestion, a solution. That's the way it should be. We were elected to tackle a difficult country, a country that was damaged. We were elected to do just that. And we were working to do just that. We were elected to rebuild this economy so we can rebuild the social fabric. We are aware of it. We were elected to create jobs. The 40,000 plus jobs are not enough. Teaching and health workers. That's why we need to unlock the private sector. We're aware of it. We're elected to give hope to the citizens, including the youth and women. We're working to do just that. We know our mandate. We appreciate the decision of the people of Zambia to put us in office greatly, because they could have elected somebody else. We appreciate that. We will not abuse that opportunity. And I want to call on my colleagues in cabinet, permanent secretaries, vice president, all of us. We're not on honeymoon. No. We were thrown by the people of Zambia, and we asked them to do that. At the deep end of the ocean, we have to swim. We have to work for the people. That's the common denominator. That's why we sit in cabinet together. That's why you're permanent secretary. The common denominator is to work for the people of Zambia. We are aware of the challenges. Yes, they're deeper. But I want to say to the people of Zambia, this government is better placed than the one that was there before, and maybe any other, to tackle the challenges that we are faced with. Is better placed. in many respects. You want to try the Nuna reverse again? It's your decision. But you will pay the price. You want more blood in the streets? It's your decision. You want a cabinet that has 2 regions only? It's your decision. We were brought a cabinet represented by all regions of this country. It's your decision. But we are humbled by your election. We work to bottom up this country's economy. What we have achieved in 8 days, we don't have to sing about it. Do a comparative analysis. 8 months, I said 8 days, 8 months. What we have achieved in 8 months is not for us to sing about. It's for you to do a benchmark. Look at the last 8 months of PF and look at the 8 months of UPND. Your answer lies in there. But we will not be complacent. We will not sit on our laurels, cabinets, PSCs. Let's work for these people. Let's work even harder. This country, I have no doubt in my mind, in 5 years' time, will be a totally different place. Totally different place. But it requires hard work. It requires us to work on facts, not innuendos. It requires us to respect each other, not to call each other names. It requires us not to steal from the people. It's an opportunity to serve the people of Zambia. That's how I feel. A very rare one for that matter. And we take your criticism, we take your views. That's the way it should be. But you made the right decision. This place in 5 years will be a different place. Watch the space. You may not see what some of us are seeing, but you'll see it very soon. You're already seeing it. Last 8 months of PF, compare those 8 months with the last 8 months of UPND. You have your answer in there. Ultimately, we do what is humanly possible, but we pray to God to give us more wisdom, to give us more energy to work for His people. You, the people of Zambia. Thank you.